I shot my father in the cockpit of his stolen Cessna. Not to kill him, but to watch the blood seep into the leather seats he'd bragged about buying with my mother's life insurance. Insurance he cashed after staging her accident to cover his embezzlement from the squadron fund. The general's voice boomed across the mess hall that night. Captain McAllister, 1,000 flights, pinning the medal to my chest while Dad sneered from the back row, whispering loud enough for the brass to hear. Jet job my ass. Girls just playing dress-up in Daddy's old toys. But here's the hook that still twists my gut. I covered for him 20 years ago. Lied to the feds about that cargo plane crash that killed 12 cadets. Because he was the hero in my kid eyes, until I learned the manifest held bricks of coke, not relief supplies. And I'd been the patsy shielding his cartel side hustle. It was a sticky August evening in 2005. The kind where the Virginia humidity clings to your skin like a bad conscience. When I first tasted betrayal's metallic tang. I was 18, fresh out of high school in Quantico, eyes wide as the Chesapeake Bay, dreaming of eagles and stars. Dad, Colonel Harlan McAllister, retired hotshot from Desert Storm, had pulled strings to get me into the Air Force Academy prep program. Autumn's got the family wings, he'd boast at barbecues, slapping my back hard enough to bruise, his breath reeking of Jack Daniels and stale cigars. Mom would laugh it off, her soft southern drawl smoothing the edges. Hush now,
Harlan.
Let the girl fly her own path. But paths? Hell, Dad paved mine with his own gravel. And I didn't see the potholes till they swallowed me whole. That summer, he handed me the keys to his old pickup, a beat-up Ford F-150 with more dents than memories, and said, "Drive this manifest down to Norfolk,
Kiddo."
Routine supply run for the base. Earn your keep. I should have questioned it. The crates in the back were heavier than standard MREs. Labeled humanitarian aid, fragile, but what did I know? I was Autumn McAllister, dutiful daughter, the one who fixed his flight sim after he'd rage quit a virtual dogfight. The drive south was a blur of humidity-fogged windows and classic rock on the AM radio, Springsteen wailing about Born to Run glory. Irony I wouldn't catch for decades. Norfolk's airfield was a hive of activity. C-130s rumbling like thunder gods. Ground crew in orange vests swarming like ants. I signed off the delivery with a lieutenant named Reyes, his handshake firm, eyes sharp. "These for the Gulf Relief Op?" he asked, glancing at the manifest. I nodded, heart swelling with that naive pride. Dad's old unit. Making a difference. He signed. And I was gone. Back to Quantico by midnight. Badge of honor pinned to my chest in my mind. 2 weeks later, the hammer dropped. News alerts blared. Cargo plane crash off the Carolina coast. 12 cadets dead in a training hop. Wreckage scattered like confetti from hell. And the whisper started: drugs on board. Cartel ties. A setup to launder cash through military channels. The feds swarmed our base like locusts, badges flashing, questions slicing. Dad called me into his study that night, the room thick with cigar smoke and the ghosts of his framed medals.
"Autumn."
"Listen," he said, voice gravel-low, eyes like chipped flint. "You signed that manifest. They come for you. You say it was all above board. Routine run. Your word's gold. Kid." I blinked, the world tilting. "But Dad, those crates. If there's..." His hand clamped my shoulder, vice tight. "There's nothing." Lies from desk jockeys chasing headlines. You back me up. We fly straight. Family first. Family. That word was our gospel. etched in the scars from his belt when Mom's nagging got too loud. So I lied. To the investigators. To the grief-stricken parents at the memorial. To myself in the mirror each dawn. Routine supply, I'd repeat. Voice steady as a turbine whine. The probe fizzled, insufficient evidence, and Dad got a slap on the wrist. Early retirement. Pension intact. I got a one-way ticket to the academy. His gift for loyalty. Fast forward a decade, and I'm Captain Autumn McAllister. Logging hours in F-35s over the Atlantic. The sky my confessional, where sins don't echo. I'd buried the crash deep. Like contrails dissolving in the wind. Married a fellow pilot named Jake, solid guy. Texas drawl. Hands that smelled of jet fuel and home fries. We settled in Fayetteville, near Fort Bragg, in a ranch-style house with a swing set for the kid we planned someday. Life was clipped wings mending, until Dad's shadow crept back. It started with a letter, postmarked from some flea-bag motel in Reno. Need to talk. Old business. Meet me, Eagle's Nest Bar. Vegas.
Ush.
Vegas? Dad hated the Strip. Called it Sodom with slot machines, but I flew out anyway. Curiosity gnawing like rust on fuselage. The bar was a dive off the old highway. Neon flickering live girls over a jukebox crooning Patsy Cline. He was at the corner booth. Older. Grayer. But the same predator gleam in his eye. Nursing a whiskey neat. Autumn, he grunted, sliding a manila envelope across the scarred formica. Your inheritance. Inside, photos. Grainy but damning, me at 18. Signing the manifest. Dad shaking hands with a scar-faced man in a guayabera. Cartel ink peeking from cuffs. Ledgers scribbled with flight numbers matching the crash. Sold the story to a journalist. Ghost of scandals past. But here's the kicker, they think you're the brains. The loyal daughter turned kingpin heir. My stomach dropped like a stalled engine. You son of a why? After everything? He leaned in, breath sour. Pensions dried up. Debts piling like storm clouds. You flew clean all these years. Time to share the turbulence. Share? This was extortion. A knife twist in the gut I'd bared for him. I stormed out. Envelope clutched like a live grenade, vowing silence. But Dad? He didn't stop. Leaks hit the wires, anonymous tips to base intel. Whispers in officer clubs. McAllister's girl. Neck-deep in narco runs. My clearances got yanked. Jake's promotion stalled by association. We fought in whispers over takeout lo mein. Is it true? Autumn? That crash. No, I'd lie. The old reflex kicking in. But the fracture lines spread. Then the kicker, Mom's accident. Car off Blackwater Bridge. 1998 verdict. Drunk driving. But the envelope had a coroner's addendum. Brakes tampered. Blood alcohol 0. Dad staged it for the insurance. $500,000 funneled to his investments. I'd grieved a lie. Buried a ghost he'd murdered. Rage brewed slow. Like thunderheads over the Appalachians. I hired a PI out of my savings, ex-Marine named Torres. All buzzcut and bourbon scars. He dug. Dad's trail snaked from Virginia to Nevada, laundering through fake vet charities, flipping informants like poker chips. The Scarface man?
Dead.
Courtesy of a rival crew. But Dad had played both sides, testifying under seal to feds while skimming protection money. Schemer extraordinaire. My old man, loyalty a currency he minted and melted at will. I confronted him again. This time on his turf, a dusty airstrip outside Boulder City. where he ran executive charters for shady execs. The Cessna sat squat under the merciless sun, prop idling like a predator's purr. "You killed her," I said, voice flat as Nevada flats.
Mom.
"And pin the crash on me to keep your hands clean." He chuckled, wiping grease from his palms. "Pins and needles."
Kid.
World's a cockpit, someone's always eating wake turbulence. Then the flip. But I can fix it. One last run. Cartel remnant needs a pilot. You fly. We split the pot. Bury the leaks forever. Temptation clawed, easy out. Wings redeemed. Jake's trust mended.
But no.
I'm done covering your ass. Harlan. I pulled a .38 from my ankle holster, Jake's ranged toy. Cold comfort and fired. Not center mass, the shoulder. A through and through that spun him against the wing. Blood blooming dark on his flannel. He howled, clutching the wound. Eyes wide with that first real fear. You bitch. Captain. Actually. I zip-tied his good wrist to the strut. Phone dialing Torres. Feds en route. Sing for them.
Dad.
All of it, the crash. Mom. The flips. As sirens wailed distant, I taxied the Cessna solo, lifting off into the thermals, leaving him to the wolves. Revenge tasted like avgas and ash, sweet, acrid, incomplete. But closure? That's a myth pilot's chase. Back in Fayetteville, Jake packed his duffel that night. Eyes hollow. You shot him. Autumn? Covered for a killer all these years. The truth avalanche buried us. Divorce papers served with coffee stains. The brass cleared my name posthumously. Dad's confessions spilled like bad fuel, but the stain lingered. Colleagues' glances like contrails of doubt. I flew desk duty, logging some hours, until a transfer to Andrews. Fresh start. Captain. Fate's a fickle co-pilot. Enter Elena Vesquez, liaison from Homeland, sharp as a switchblade in pencil skirts, Latina fire with a Georgetown law degree. She cornered me in the O Club, martini in hand. McAllister? Harlan's girl. Heard you clipped his wings. Her laugh was smoke and spice. We talked about skies scarred by secrets, about daughters devouring father sins. One drink led to 3, then a motel off I-95, her nails raking my back like cat claws on leather. You're not him, she whispered. And for a night, I believed it. Elena became my anchor, fierce, unyielding. The kind of woman who quoted Audre Lorde over MREs and outshot me at the range. She knew the crash file cold. Had prosecuted cartel mules in her DOJ days. Your dad's a weasel, she'd say, tracing my collarbone. But you? You're the storm he brewed. We plotted nothing at first, just survival. I logged flights again. F-16s screaming over the Potomac. Adrenaline rinsing the rot. Jake? A ghost in alimony checks. Remarried to a civvy with no baggage. Then the hook twisted deeper. 6 months in, Elena's phone buzzed mid-thrust. Urgent recall. Her face paling. Cartel hit. Reno's safe house compromised. Dad's old crew. Payback for his flip. She geared up. Kiss me hard. Stay frosty. Fly girl. Radio silence followed. Then the call. Her body in a ditch off 95. Ruled suicide. Pistol to temple. Note forged in her hand. Bullshit. I knew the play. Dad's ghost whispering from his cell, where he'd plea bargain to life for ratting his suppliers. Torres confirmed it. Elena's suicide reeked. Talks screen clean. Angle wrong for self-inflicted. She'd been digging too deep, threatening Dad's final ace, a hidden ledger. Flights from '05 that implicated brass higher than him. Colonels to generals, Torres growled over burner. Your pop's the canary. Singing to save his hide. Rage reignited. Hotter than afterburners. I went rogue. Hacked Dad's prison visits via a guard contact. Elena's name nowhere. But a shadow player. General Wade, Iron Eagle, Harlan, no relation. But Dad's old wingman. The one who'd pinned my 1000th flight medal while Dad mocked from the shadows.
Wade.
The name slithered like oil. I'd saluted him at ceremonies. His handshake firm. Voice booming platitudes about duty and honor. But Torres files painted different. Co-signer on the '05 manifest. Silent partner in the laundering. The man who'd greenlit Mom's insurance payout as compassionate leave. Betrayal's hydra, cut one head. 2 grow. Elena's death? His order, through proxies, to bury the ledger before it flew to light. I needed proof. Infiltrating a general's sanctum?
Suicide mission.
But grief's a hell of a fuel. I pulled favors, old academy buds in cyber. A mechanic pal at Andrews who owed me for covering his DUI. Night op. Black Suburban to Wade's McLean estate. Potomac glittering like fool's gold beyond the hedges. Security was laughable for a 4-star, cameras looped via my hack. Alarms silenced. I slipped in through the pool house. Heart hammering like rotor wash. His study was a shrine to ego. Sabre jet models. Photos with presidents. A humidor of Cubans that screamed ill-gotten. The safe cracked easy. Combo from Torres' tale. Wife's birthday. Mistress's measurements. Inside. The ledger. Leather-bound. Entries in Wade's scrawl. Flights. Payoffs. Mom's accident coded as asset neutralization. Jackpot. But as I snapped pics on my encrypted phone, the door creaked. Captain McAllister, Wade drawled, silhouette filling the frame. .45 gleaming casual in his grip. Knew you'd buzz my tower eventually.
No panique. Predator poise.
Eyes like radar locks. He flipped the script smooth. Your dad's rotting because of you. That Cessna shot? Overkill. But Elena. She was mine first. DOJ plant. Feeding me intel on loose ends like Harlan. The world inverted. Elena? His. Torres files missed that. Her fire a cover. Our nights a honey trap to gauge my loyalty. You used her. I spat. Backing toward the desk. My own piece drawn but trembling. Killed her to tide off. He chuckled. Low thunder. Decisions. Autumn. Controversial ones keep the machine flying. You covered the crash, same as me. We're birds of a feather. You and I. Join the nest. Testify it's all Harlan's fever dream. Pension bumps for life.
Or.
The hammer clicked back. Polarization hit like G-forces. Shoot him. I'm the villain. Rogue captain assassinating a general. Dad sins mine by proxy. Walk away. The truth dies. Elena's ghost wails unanswered. Family first, Dad's echo mocked. But whose family? The Air Force I'd bled for. Or the vengeance I'd birthed. I fired low, me. Shattering patella with a wet crack. He buckled. Cursing. Gun skittering.
Bitch.
Court-martial for this. I zip-tied him to his desk chair. Ledger in hand. Dialing MPs with a twisted anon tip. Intruder at General Wade's. Shots fired. As blue lights flashed distant, I vanished into the night. Suburban melting into beltway traffic. The fallout? Media frenzy. Hero pilot exposes brass scandal. Hearings dragged autumn into winter. My testimony a scalpel carving rot. Crash. Mom.
Elena, all laid bara.
Wade lawyered up. Plea to conspiracy. Stripes stripped. Dad? Found hanged in his cell. Suicide. Official word. But rope burns too neat for my taste. Karma's contrail. Twist lands here. The debatable gut punch. Elena's final email. Forwarded post-mortem by her sister. Time-stamped hours before the suicide. Autumn, it's deeper. Wade's my handler. But I'm flipping. Ledger's key. Burn it after you leak. Love you. Fly straight. Love or lure? Was she double-agenting for real? Sacrificing for us? Or one last flip to drag me down with the brass? The email's metadata? Scrubbed clean. Origin a ghost server in Langley. Debate rages in my head. In bars with flyboys. Online forums dissecting the McAllister mess. Hero? Patsy? Avenger or architect of chaos? I retired early. Bought a cabin in the Smokies. Fly crop dusters for moonshiners. Irony's my co-pilot now. Jake reached out once. Kid in tow. Proud of you.
Sorta. Sorta.
That's the American way, gray skies.
No absolots.
Just endless blue, with storm clouds lurking. As for me, I wake to rooster crows and rotor hums. Wondering if vengeance clipped my wings or gave em steel. Harlan's blood on that Cessna seat? Faded stain. Like regrets. But the hook? It catches lightsome dawns. Glinting truth. In the cockpit of betrayal. We're all just chasing altitude. One controversial climb at a time. The Smokies cabin wasn't redemption, it was recession. A downgrade from Fayetteville's manicured lawns to pine needle carpets and black bear raids on the compost. I'd traded epaulets for flannel. 35 afterburners for a Piper Cub that wheezed like an asthmatic uncle. Crop dusting gigs paid in cash and casseroles from the locals. Widows with stories sadder than mine. Moonshine-ins with grudges deeper than holler creeks. Autumn McAllister. They drawl over cornbread and red-eye gravy. You that sky gal, what brung down the bigwigs?
Pass the chow-chow.
Darlin'. Folks treated me like a relic from a Ken Burns doc. Equal parts awe and suspicion. The way they'd eye a Confederate sword in a museum case. Heard you shot your own kin, old mister. Hargrove muttered once. Forking hem hock. Family's thicker than sorghum. But sometimes you gotta thin the herd. I nodded. Sipping branch water cut with their shine, firewater that burned clean. Unlike the rock gut secrets Dad peddled. Nights. I'd porch sit with a six-string. Picking Dylan tunes about tangled lies. The banjo twang echoing off mist-shrouded ridges. Jake's occasional texts pinged like Morse. Kid asks about anti-auto. You good? Good? A moving target. Like thermals over the ridge. But ghosts don't dust crops, they ride coattails. 6 months in, a black SUV crunched gravel up my drive. Government plates. Tinted windows screaming loose ends. Outstepped Agent Carla Ruiz. FBI vintage. Pantsuit crisp as fresh intel. Badge glinting like a warning shot.
Captain Ea.
Yes. McAllister? Director's compliments. Coffee inside. We settled at my scarred oak table. Mug steaming Folgers, hers black. Mine laced with bourbon pilfered from Hargrove still. Wade's appealing, she said. No preamble. Flipping a dossier thicker than a flight manual. Claims entrapment. Says you planted the ledger. Elena was your plant. My laugh barked harsh. Scattering the cabin's quiet. Entrapment? Try exposure. He killed her, my lover. your colleague, to bury his ass. Ruiz's eyes narrowed. Hawksharp. Lover. Unreported. Messy for clearances. She was probing, not accusing, fishing for flips in my pond. Turns out, the scandal's wake lapped high. Congressional probes, class actions from crash widows, even a Netflix doc sniffing betrayal at 30,000 feet. Wade's lawyers spun it patriotic, harsh measures in the drug war. Collateral for national security. Your testimony cracked the case, Ruiz allowed. But ripples. Autumn. Brass is circling wagons. Need you to affirm, no deeper players. Deeper? The Hydra laughed. I'd burned Elena's email, but doubts festered. Her love you a cipher. Langley ties a spiderweb I couldn't map. Affirm what? I countered, leaning in, the table's edge biting my palms. That I flew clean? Or that I won't testify to the Senate about how the Air Force covered cartel runs since Reagan?
She sighed.
Holster creaking. Choices.
Captain.
Testify broad. You hero up, book deals. TED Talks. Narrow it. Wade rots quiet. System self-heals. Controversial fork. Whistle wide. Expose the rot to daylight. Burn every bridge from Quantico to the Pentagon? Or clip wings selective? Let the machine grind on. Vengeance sated but sin systemic? I chose the ridge, middle ground. Testifying to Wade's direct hand. Elena's murder pinned forensic tight. For her, I said.
Ruiz nodded. Dossier snap shut.
Copy that. But middles breed ambushes. Post-hearing buzz hit like flack. Tabloids dubbed me Vindictive Valkyrie. Fox pundits foaming about woke witch hunts on our heroes. Online. The split polarized vicious. Justice for Autumn threads clashing with Stand with Wade. Memes of me as Harpy or Avenging Angel. One viral clip. My mess hall metal pin. Dad's mock superimposed. Captioned, Daddy's Girl or Devil in Dress Blues? Debate devolved to doxing threats. My cabin's P.O. box stuffed with hate mail, yellowed envelopes reeking of printer ink and bile. Traitor. Your mom deserved the bridge. Jake called then. Voice frayed as old parachute silk. Saw the hearings. Kid drew you as a superhero, cape and goggles. But Autumn. The flip, Elena working angles? I froze. Receiver slick in my grip. What flip? He hesitated, then spilled, his civvy wife. A paralegal. Dug public records, Elena's DOJ file redacted heavy. But footnotes hinted CIA moonlighting. Asset cultivation in cartel ops. Was she playing you? Or us all? The question clawed nocturnal. Sleep stolen by whippoorwills and what-ifs. Elena's ghost morphed, lover to lure. Martyr to manipulator. Had our sheets been strategy? Her moans misdirection? I drove to Asheville next dawn. Rain sheeting the windshield like tears withheld. To a cyber cafe off Patton Avenue, hipster haunt with pour-overs and paranoia-proof VPNs. Hired a hacker kid. Bite to his crew. All tattoos and Red Bull veins. Deep dive on Vasquez, I slid cash across the scarred laminate. Everything. Bite delivered in drips. Elena's trail snaked from barrios in Laredo to Langley black sites. Consultant, gigs blurring Fed lines. One gem. Encrypted chat logs. Her to an anon handle eagle eye, Wade. Coordinating McAllister containment. But the twist? A fork in the code, mid-thread. She pivots, leaking chords to a rival analyst. Flipping for real, Bite shrugged. Or double flip. Spook's love hall of mirrors. Hall indeed. Back in the holler. I pieced it. Elena ensnared by Wade Postioja. Forced to honey me as leverage, Dad's daughter. The loose thread. But love cracked the script. She flipped to free us. Only for Wade's hit to silence the break.
Or.
She played me to the end, staging her death for witness protection. Ledger bait to draw me out. No body double in the morgue pics? Grainy enough for doubt. The debatable dagger, if I pursued, exhumed her grave in Arlington's shadow annex. I'd unravel more lives, innocence in the crossfire, or vindicate a ghost. Proving vengeance's cost infinite. Moonshine called. I hit Hargrove still that night. Jars clinking in the truck bed, the mountain air crisp as contrail frost. We sat round his fire pit, flames dancing like accusations. Passing the jug. Revenge, he opined, spittle-flecking beard. Like shine, cooks slow, burns hot, leaves you hollow. His yarn spilled, Vietnam vet. Shelled a VC nest only to learn it housed a defector's family. Shot the right wrong. Girl.
But sleep?
Comes in snatches. Hollow rang true. Dawn found me airborne. Piper buzzing sorghum fields. The world a quilt of green and gold below. That's when the radio crackled. Unsecured frequency. Voice distorted but familiar. Auto? It's bite. Your spook? Pinged a Cayman account yesterday. 5 mil wired. To you.
Me?
The Piper yawed. Stomach dropping. Elena's inheritance. Blood money from the ledger's pot. Auto-routed to my alias account I'd forgotten from PI days. Laundered clean through crypto shells. Enough to vanish Costa Rica.
No extradition.
Wings for hire. Gift? Or trap? Wade's appeal bait. IRS audit trigger? Or Elena's final flip? Posthumous lifeline from a faked grave? Polarization peaked. Cash the check. I'm complicit. Narco widow turned fugitive. Dad's echo in my veins. Donate it. Trace the flip. Chase Elena's phantom to closure or cliff. I banked hard. Circling the holler like a hawk on thermals. Decision swirling. Controversial call. Wire it to crash victims fund. With a note. For the fallen. Fly straight. IRS be damned. Audits fly slower than guilt. But the hook snagged deeper. Ruiz called that eve. Voice edged panic. Account flagged yours. Wade's team traced the wire. They're coming. Coming? For a donation? No, the note's IP. My cyber trail. I'd flipped the script, but left breadcrumbs. Cabin lights blazed defiant as I packed. Go bag essentials. .38. Flight log. Elena's locket with its hidden drive, logs bite mist. SUV headlights pierce the dark. Agents fanning tactical. McAllister. Ruiz bellowed from the lead. Bullhorn harsh. Stand down. It's over. Over?
Bull.
I torched the place. Gasoline rainbow over pine beams. Flames roaring up like afterburner roar, then bolted for the tree line. .38 barking cover fire into dirt. Branches whipped. Lungs burning. The Smokies swallowing me whole. Behind, sirens wailed symphony to arson. Feds shouting coordinates. Ahead, a Buddy's Ridge strip. Piper fueled for bug out. I lifted off at dawn's crack. Props chewing mist. The cabin a pyre smudge below. Destination, unknown. But south, Appalachia to Gulf. Contraband routes Dad taught. Irony's yoke. Vengeance? A l'aube de l'aube. No straight and level. Elena's locket hummed secrets unsolved. Wade's appeal grinding gears. My name etched in scandal stone. In the cockpit. Altimeter spinning. I keyed the radio dead. This is Captain Autumn McAllister. 1,000 flights and counting. Harlan, you were wrong. It's not dress up. It's the only real thing left. Static answered. But the sky whispered back. Fly on. Flip or not. The debate eternal. The Gulf salt tang hit like a slap from an old lover, briny. Unforgiving. The kind that sticks to your soul. I ditched the Piper in a Louisiana bayou airstrip, trading her for a rust bucket beechcraft from a shrimper contact who'd heard whispers of the Sky Witch on the lam. Cash spoke louder than warrants. His eyes darted like minnows as he pocketed the bills. Fed's been sniffin' round Biloxi. You stirrin' that pot again? Share. I shrugged, pre-flighting the bee, with hands steady from disuse, gauges flickering like fireflies. Engine coughing to life like a hungover chain smoker. Southbound now, skimming the marshlands toward the Big Easy, where neon veins pulse under magnolia shade. New Orleans was neutral ground, too chaotic for feds to filter, too Catholic for ghosts to linger without absolution. I holed up in a Garden District shotgun rental, peeling paint and ceiling fans whirring like anxious thoughts. Alias say. Rivers on the lease. Days blurred to rum sours at Preservation Hall. Trumpet wails morning sins I couldn't name. Nights scrolling dark web drops from Bite. Elena sightings, grainy cams in Panama. Whispers of a ghost liaison flipping cartels for Uncle Sam. The money wire? It boomeranged. Crash fund admins hailed me anonymous benefactor. Plastering my gift in pressers, ironies press. Drawing Ruiz as hounds faster than blood in water. She cornered me via burner. Voice crackling coastal static. Autumn.
Stand down.
The wire's clean. Wade's appeal tanked on your note. But torching the cabin? Felony flight. Come in. Deal's on table. Deal? Laughter bubbled bitter. Like Elena's? Silence stretched. Then, she was dirty.
Yeah.
But flipping for you, real. Body was hers. Double confirmed. Autopsy scars from old ops. Not staging. Proof pinged later. Me report forwarded. Timestamps ironclad. Grief hit fresh, raw as a midair stall. The world spinning untethered. Elena dead for truth. Not theater. My flips? Phantom chases. Vengeance's fool's errand. But fools attract kin. A week in, the door rattled, insistent knock. Not brass thunder. I cracked it, .38 palmed, to find Jake on the stoop, duffel slung. 5 o'clock shadow framing eyes like storm fronts. Tracked your prop signature, old habit. Texas twang softened the edges. But tension wired his frame. Kid nowhere, divorce decrees ghost. Heard the hearings. The fire. Thought you might need a co-pilot. We talked till the cock crowed over Jackson Square. Rum flowing freer than confessions. He knew Elena's layers, his para wife dug deeper, her CIA pivot post-DOJ. Wade's leash via compromat from a Laredo bust. She flipped to cut it, he said, hand brushing mine accidental electric.
For you.
Like I should have flipped sooner on the divorce. Regret's a headwind. But his? It banked us toward thaw, nights tangled in 400 thread sheets. Days plotting egress. Belize? Maybe. Ecolodge cover for freelance charters. Fate. That capricious ATC. Vectored trouble. Bite's next drop. Wade paroled early. Pardon whispers from a sympathetic Veep. National security exigencies. The general. Clipped but crawling. Eyes on payback. Intel pegged him stateside. Virginia Hunt Club. Rallying old guard for a reclamation. Reclamation? My scalp. On a silver platter disguised as cleared record. He's scheming, Bite typed frantic. Flipping brass, your old COs testifying character witnesses. Controversial play. Paint you the unstable Avenger. Him the framed patriot. Polarization's pyre reignited. Forums frothed. Wade wronged versus. Autumn avenge. Cable hacks debating, was the shot in the knee justice or jihad? Jake pushed pragmatic. Bolt now. Vanish. But vanishing? That's Dad's playbook, flip and fade. Sins shedding like alto cumulus.
No.
Closure demanded confrontation. One last dogfight in the clouds of consequence. We flew north. Beechcraft low, and mean over the Atchafalaya. Jake riding shotgun with a shotgun. Irony's armory. Drop point, Shenandoah Valley. Dad's old stomping grounds. Where Wade's club hunkered like a feudal keep amid deer stands and decoys. Intel from a bribed groundskeeper. Gala that night. Brass toasting honor restored, pheasants flushing under moonrise. Infiltration was a waltz with wolves, borrowed civvies, Jake's cousin's hunt club threads. Badges forged via Bite's wizardry. The hall thrummed Dixieland jazz. Crystal clinking like false teeth. Generals in mess dress swapping war stories, laced with lobbyist lies. Wade held court center. Knee-braced titanium shiny. Charisma undimmed. Betrayal's the real enemy. Gentlemen. But truth flies eternal. I ghosted the perimeter. Jake flanking shadows. Heart sinking to the brass bands when the Saints slip into the trophy room. Mounted bucks staring glassy judgment. And there, Wade's valise. Monogrammed hubris. Zipper yielding to my pick. Inside, fresh ledgers. Not '05 relics, but current. Pentagon slush to private contractors. Elena's name redacted in a neutralized assets appendix. Proof eternal. The Hydra's final head. But doors don't lock fate. MS. Rivers. Wade purred from the threshold.
Can tapping métronome menace.
Or should I say, Captain Chaos. No alarm, his flip again. Groundskeeper bought back or bugged. Jake burst in. Shotgun leveled. But Wade's laugh boomed. Easy.
Tex.
This is family reunion. Family? The word curdled. He monologued smooth. Kane propping his lean. You shot right knee for knee. Harlan's debts paid. But Elena? She was the play, my canary in your coal mine. Flipped her myself. Post-crash. To monitor loose lips like yours. Monitor? Or manipulate? His eyes gleamed scheme. Join the real club. Autumn. Testify for my full reinstatement. Pensions. Postings. Your record scrubbed sparkle clean. Jake here? Civilian contractor gold.
Or.
Kane tapped the valise. I burn this. You burn forever, arsonist. Fugitive. Dad's true heir. The fork forked vicious. Align with the beast. Flip to systemic sin. By peace with complicity, Wade's empire endures. Vengeance voided? Or torch it literal? Shotgun symphony in the trophy den. Polarize the nation anew. No heroes. Just hunters in the dark? Jake's grip whitened knuckles. Your call.
Auto. Mine.
The debatable core. Right or revenge? The line blurs in crosswinds. I snatch the valise. Zipping it tight. Burn your own nest. General. I'm done covering. .38 barked, ceiling plaster snowing, and Jake's shotgun boomed doorframe. Buying seconds. We bolted. Alarms shrieking banshee. Into the night woods, twigs snapping underfoot. Hounds baying primal. Wade's roar echoed. You'll flip. Girl. They all do. Exville was poetry in panic. Pre-stashed Jeep thundering valley roads. Beechcraft waiting at a hayfield LZ. We lifted as spotlights swept. Rotors chewing stars. Virginia shrinking to a vendetta speck. South again. But twisted, not vanish. But vector to light. Bite routed the valise scans to Ruiz, anonymous drop. Timed to congressional oversight. Deeper rot exposed, her callback crackled. Wade's done, indefinite detention. You're clear. Come home. Home, the word hung. Debatable as dawn. Jake squeezed my knee. Belize still? Or Fayetteville 2.0? Kid swing set called. Maybe, roots regrowing tentative. But Elena's locket? I thumbed it open. Drive yielding final file. Her video log. Time-stamped pre-suicide. Autumn, if you're seeing this. I flipped clean. Wade's leash snapped. Love wasn't the op. Burn the drive after. And fly. Baby, higher than us all. Tears blurred the panel. Altimeter climbing. Vengeance's loop closed. Not triumph, but truce. We touched Belize wheels up. Ecolodge greening under palms. Charters to yachties with cleanish cash. Mornings, Jake brewing chicory. Kid visits via FaceTime, his ex thawed grudging. Afternoons, me aloft. Dusting reefs, not drugs. Sky vast and unbetrayed. Twist lingers. The eternal debate. Was Elena's flip salvation or siren song? Her death the price of partial truth? Forums still feud. McAllister mythos. Cable panels pontificating hero or hoax. I sip rum on the veranda. Banjo strums from a beach busker. And shrug to the trade winds. In America's cockpit, dramatic. Dark. Divided, we're all flipping for altitude. Controversial climbs to cloudy no-man's lands. Harlan's mock echoes faint. Judd job.
Yeah. Dad.
And it's mine. But here's the final hook. The one that sparks the barroom brawls. 6 months on. A Cayman ping. Residual wire. Elena's ghost account. Depositing quarterly. Not blood money. Royalties from her memoir. Ghost-written pre-flip. Shadows over the Sierra. A liaison's lies. Epilogue? To autumn. Fly the unforgiven skies. We're even. Even? Debatable as democracy. I cash it to scholarships, cadets with daddy issues. Wings unweighted. And in the blue, I climb. Controversial and free.